Um, these are curved shapes. Initially, we've shown you some curved turnings. This little bowl here has a slight flare to it. We've got another bowl here which curves inward. But most of the turnings we've shown you just have straight sides. We've also been showing you turnings where when you cut two rings, they come apart and fit back together so that you can make a turning just from one block of wood. These turnings, the ones that you see here, were actually made from several different boards. This took 6 boards, 8 by 8 inches, and this one too took 6 boards, 8 by 8 inches. It's interesting that they both required the same amount of wood, even though they're not anywhere near the same size. This is just a typical base. This is made out of sassafras, by the way. Sassafras is a wood that was traditionally used with foods. If you smell the inside of this vase, there's a wonderful root beery smell to it, and the early settlers in this country believed that sassafras, because of that pungent odor, would actually keep dairy products fresh. Often you'll find old butter molds made out of sassafras. It's great carving wood too, although can be a bit hard to control because it's an open grain wood. Anyway, this is, as you can see, the herringbone pattern from the riffs on sassafras that we've got. Kind of makes a nice design in and of itself. This round turning here, kind of a globe. This was a piece of walnut that I got from my local lumber yard for $1 because there was so much sapwood in this board that they didn't think it was usable. This sort of proves my philosophy that there's no such thing as an ugly piece of wood. If you can find the right time and place to use the wood, it's all good. This is going to be a box. The lid actually comes off like this, and or cookie jar, whatever you want. This just calls for a sight gag, doesn't it? You know, it's like me doing brain surgery on an M&M. But anyway, this is there's little white lines, as you can see. I'll come in a little closer, and you can see these. There you go. The wood that we were needing to plane down had to be 0.800 inches thick in order to get the curves that we were after. And this walnut board that I had wasn't quite that thick. It came out to be about 0.78. And so we took a little veneer and we glued it to the walnut to thicken it up, and then got it kind of a nice effect with the rings. You can see the inside's not yet turned. You can see inside there how well the rings matched when we got them together. Doing a curve turning on the Ringmaster is a go back to camera B here for a minute, or I want to use well okay. I'll stay here, but I want to get over on the blackboard, or I'll just here. Never mind. I'll just pull the blackboard over here. Making curved turnings on the Ringmaster is a real exercise in planning. It takes a lot of thought to cut the rings and get them to match up the way that you need to. If you go to the blackboard and you scroll down, you'll see that Drew and I put 2 plans, one for this vase and another one for this round ball on the blackboard there for you to download. And if you look at those, you can see that There's an enormous amount of drawing and planning that goes on. If you're going to do curves like this, you first of all have to plan your profile, figure out where the rings intersect the profile, and then figure out the angle at which you have to cut those rings. There is a procedure to this, and I'll put it right here. I'm going to draw the profile, and this is just going to be a simple curve in red. All right, and if this of course is just part of a turning, and you then, once you've drawn your profile, you then draw how you're going to slice the profile up. In other words, what rings, how thick your rings are going to be.
Use a darker color.
What?
Use a darker color.
Use a darker color?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not showing up. No, it isn't. Okay, I see that on the screen. Okay. All right, guys. Okay. Yep, there we go. Got that over for today. They show up a little bit better? You can come in closer on the screen. You have. Okay. All right. This is the profile. These are the rings that you're going to use. The first thing that you want to do for each ring is take where the ring intersects the profile, which would be at these points, and then draw a line from those points, a straight line connecting them. Now, I'm going to widen that straight line a little bit as much as I can. Okay. You can see that straight line is not far off from the curve. Let's see, if we wanted to, we better re-emphasize this. Let's make the curve. And it's I'm just creating work for myself here. But anyway, you draw this line. Now this line I'm calling on the blackboard the tangent line, but it isn't a true tangent. If you wanted to make the tangent, you would actually take this line and move it out to the curve, and it would be right there. That would be a tangent line where it would intersect the curve. Same way here. The tangent line would be parallel to the line you've just drawn, but it would intersect the curve. You want to take this tangent line and move it not just to the curve, but a little bit beyond it, say 1/8 of an inch. And so you move it there, and then there. Okay? Those two lines that I've drawn are parallel to my tangent lines. Okay, but they're out 1/8 of an inch away from the profile. Now I decide how thick I want my wall to be. In the turnings that I showed you, the wall was about 1/2 inch thick. Actually, it was between 7/16 and 9/16 inches. So you come in here 1/2 inch, and you draw another line parallel to the line that you've just drawn. Okay. Now you've got your profile encapsulated between two lines that represent the inside and outside diameters of a ring. The problem is you'll find, is that these things don't quite match up. This line comes here, and there's a little step. If you take and move this line back a little bit, your profile line is still well within inside your the ring, but you moved it back, and now these rings match up so that they seem to flow from one to the other. Now the funny thing is that when you do this last adjustment, all the widths of the rings, and I'm calling the width looking down at the top of the ring and it would be from the smallest, in this case, the inside diameter to the outside diameter. Looking down from the top, you'll find every single one of those measurements are the same. In our case, if you're looking at the plans, it came out to be 0.565. So it's an interesting little exercise in applied trigonometry. Actually, what you're doing is a little bit similar to the trig computer, but you're doing it kind of by just moving it around a little bit. And this has to be done. You cannot. At least I haven't been able to find out how to actually draw this thing straight out the first time. But if you look at the rings that we've arranged to do the vase, you'll see that the profile as it curves in and out may come close to the outside at some points and then closer to the inside. But it follows so that the profile is on the inside, and you can then put this on the lathe, clean it up. And what's nice about once you glue up these rings is once you sort of blend the rings together on the lathe, you've got your profile. You sort of follow the rings themselves. Now there is so let's see. I've got these drawn up over there on the lathe, and that's the next step, because we're going to go over and start drawing or start cutting these things. This is I'm gonna come up a little close on camera C here and show you all the notes. Well, no, I'm not. That's whited out there. There. If I turn it, maybe you can see. Boy, that just flashes white, doesn't it? Drew has made all sorts of incredible notes on this. Even once we got going, the turnings require 6 boards. There are 3 boards shown. There are 3 discs shown in the drawings, and actually you have to do a repeat of each board. So it's 3 boards, but they're cut. Each board is cut twice. So what we did is we labeled each board A, B, and C, and then we went over, and I'm going to go over there right now, and we started cutting the rings. So, cut again. Okay. This is the rings that I have cut so far for another bowl turning. This one is actually going to be a little bit more elliptical than the vase. The vase was done with 2 round ones, and this is an ellipse. We've taken each ring, and the first thing we do is we lay out a disc on the board. This board is cut to be about 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. This is for the rings at the very bottom of the plan, which is we've labeled board C, and what we've done to make these clear, concise markings is taken a compass. And instead of mounting a pencil in it, we've mounted an X-Acto knife. And Drew has actually shaved down the tip of that X-Acto knife so that it is actually a lot more sturdy. Want to come in on that a little bit? See, so they can see how you did the tip? There we go. There, see that? He's taken the tip off of that and shortened it. Now, if the next thing, we've got a center finding rule here, and we've punched a very, very tiny depression right there at the 0 mark so that we can come out with this X-Acto blade and set it precisely, like right there, it's set to 2 and 17/32. Okay? Now I can take that blade and this piece of wood here, put it in the center, and scribe a line exactly 2 and 17/32 out from the center. Now, one of the things that we found in using this setup is that as you swing this around the board, it will want to follow the grain, and so it actually pulls the knife out towards the outside. It is most accurate when you're cutting across the grain, and that's really the only marks you need. You can see here, if want to come in closer on this one, there we go. Get the close camera. Okay, there we go. You see here, Drew has marked the rings, and then he has marked the shading right there. That's where the waist is. In other words, he's going to use this ring and this ring, but this is the waist in the board where the shading is. This becomes, you cut the disc out on a bandsaw, drill a hole in the middle, and now you've got a board where your rings are marked. We numbered the rings in the vase 1 through 7. This particular board that I've got in my hand, you can see I've got, now this is going to be the number 3 ring up here, and because of the planning I've done, that ring gets cut at 30 degrees on the Ringmaster. This is going to be the number 6 ring right here, and that ring gets cut at 18 degrees. I've got those labeled right there, so you can't possibly, well, I can. I will, you know, working on off that old adage, there's a corollary somewhere to when you make it idiot-proof, God invents a better idiot. So I can figure out some way to mess this up, but I've tried as hard as I possibly can to defeat my own stupidity. So we're going to, I'm set up right here to turn ring number 1. Ring number 1 is at 6 degrees. Now the difference between what we're doing on the Ringmaster now and what you've seen in the previous 2 segments that I've showed you is that we have to cut each ring twice. Before, when we cut a ring, when we cut the inside diameter, that became the outside diameter for the next ring. So each ring only required 1 cut. Now we're going to make 2 cuts per ring, and in between cuts, we will be changing angles each time. So, first of all, let's change to the angle we need. I'm going to put on a pair of eyeballs. Okay, 6 degrees. Now, on the Ringmaster, there is a small nut and a large nut. The large nut is what tightens down the Ringmaster at the proper angle. And I have found through experience that needs to be about as tight as you can possibly get it. Now we're at 6 degrees. I'm going to turn this until the mark that Drew made with the X-Acto knife is right there in front of the knives. And now you'll find when you tighten up these nuts that the Ringmaster may move a little bit. Because this is a precision operation, you may actually have to loosen it and move it back and forth. This has, as a matter of fact, tightening this down I actually put it to you. Am I boring you, buddy? Okay. Obviously, if you don't have opposable thumbs, this is of no interest to you. Now I've lost my place. All right, the ring here is set up to be cut the outside at 6 degrees, And when I originally put the Ringmaster in place, I knew which way from using it quite a bit. I knew which way that this was going to move. So I actually put it back just a hair, and when I tightened it down, it crept forward, and now it's right where it needs to be. Okay, I've got the knives mounted in there. I'm looking down. This is another check that you want to make. Look down and make sure that the two knives are as lined up as they can possibly be. You can even do the old trick where you look down past a straight edge. It's called. Sometimes some of you remember the winding stick trick, and this is what I'm doing, and those look pretty lined up. Let's turn this on. You'll notice that I have a sanding disc over on this side, and I will keep clear of that. I use this sanding disc because I found that this nut right here gets really, really tight sometimes, and I need the sanding disc to hold onto the spindle to loosen the nut. Also, I want to warn you that so that you can see this as well as possible, that this thing comes with a guard, so that should the ring fly apart on you, you are protected. I've taken the guard off here because so that I can see a little bit better, and more importantly, so that you can see a little bit better. So let's. I like to be able to see right where this thing is going to meet the line to make sure that this is as precise as possible. Incidentally, you're seeing me struggle with this, with the crank on this Ringmaster, and there's a reason for that. Drew and I have been working this pretty hard over the last couple of months, and there's a great deal, we suspect, there's a great deal of sawdust that's impacted in the threads here. This all comes apart so that you can clean it. There are some spring clips on these metal rods that hold the Ringmaster together, and all you do is remove those spring clips and back the crank out, and you can clean that up. This is we are way past due for a good cleanup for this one. So let me move this forward. Once again, I'm going to put it just a little bit back of my mark, because when I tighten this down, it's going to move forward, and it does. Okay. Looks like we're ready. Yeah, that's pretty good. to remove one of the knives from the Ringmaster so that it doesn't scrape the tape. I'm going to tape this my left, your right side of this ring, so that when I cut through, the ring will remain in place and won't go bouncing around all over. That tape trick works so well, it's sometimes kind of hard to tell when you've actually cut through here. And let me back this up. There you go. This is ring number 1, and it fits on top of ring number 1 right there on this bowl. So there it goes like this: 1, 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I will probably do a 2 and a 3 up here and make this sort of an elliptical base. Now, there is one more thing that I want to tell you about. These are harder to turn. Once you get these glued up, let's go back to the. Hang on, guys. We're going to have the camera catch up with me. Once you need to turn these, you have several choices. The first thing is, if you're going to turn the inside. Now, I elected not to do the inside of this except for the last few rings. I mean, you really can't get down in there, and this is just going to hold decorative things anyway. So I did not turn the inside except that part that would be visible. This one, the whole thing will be visible on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this up 2, 3, 4 rings at a time, turn the inside only, and then add a couple more rings, turn those, add a couple more rings, turn those. I don't have to reach deep into the bowl to do the turning that way. Once I've got this all turned on the outside, or the inside rather, then I will move to the outside. And I'll probably turn this on the outside much the same way that I turned this large vase. I made a turning block here. This is the block that I made for the drive center. It's got the cross mark cut in it here on the back, so that let me bring it up close here. There you go. It's got cross mark cut. Wrong. Okay. All right. Need a little coordination here between the camera crew and the presenter. You can see the cross mark cut in it for the drive center, and you can see I've ripped that out a couple of times and had to recut it. It's got then a 1/2-inch plug on this side, which fits into the base right here. Okay. Now then I cut. Just keep it right there for a minute. I cut a disc. All right. The same diameter as the top of the vase. And in that disc, I put a depression for a cup center. And I stuck the disc to the top with some carpet tape. There you go. Now, let me pull back, and you can see this is ready for turning now. At this point, I can turn this between centers. And that's exactly what I did to clean up the outside of this. On this turning, right here, I simply used 2 of these blocks. One here, one there. Okay. By the way, I put carpet tape between the blocks and the surfaces of the turning so that these aren't loose. Otherwise, the blocks would spin and the turning wouldn't. But anyway, there was carpet tape between the 2 blocks and the turnings, and that made it possible to mount on the lathe like this. The lid of this was held on with carpet tape so that it was in place while I was turning it. Now I will go back and I will attach this to the lathe and turn the inside and the outside. They're not very deep. This one's a little deep, but I'll turn the inside and the outside with this simply attached to the mandrel for the Ringmaster. This one, however, I'm going to do in stages, 1, 2, 3 rings at a time, in order to save myself some work. Because by the time I glue this up, see, it's already as tall as this one. Okay, but by the time I add 3 or 4 more rings to that, it'll be much too deep to reach in there with a gouge. Incidentally, the tools that Drew and I have found works best for turning the insides of these things is the miniature bowl set. There's some little tiny, almost metalworking points that are attached to Drew's going to run and get those. But those seem to do a real nice job cleaning out the inside of these things. The problem that you're going to find with ordinary bowl gouges is that you're turning, in this case, you're turning a combination of end grain and long grain. And as this rotates around, it's end grain, long grain, end grain, long grain. Now you could go back to the second video that we did on this and look and see how I did segments, so that you're always turning long grain. That could make some really spectacular curved turnings. But if you're just working from standard boards like we did, oh, thanks. Drew's disembodied hand comes. Okay, here we go. These are. I'll bring these close to the camera so that you can see the tips. Okay. There you go. Look at the tips there. They're this one is straight. It's just those of you who do metalworking have certainly ground a tip like that before. This one is mounted on a hook. Okay, so you can reach to the side. It's like a boring bar in many ways. And this one is a boring bar right here. And these do a really, really nice job of cleaning up the inside of a bowl. And you just have to sort of draw them along the inside very carefully. So, folks, that's it. I'm gonna pause here, and if there are any questions about making curve turnings, such as I've got shown right here, please let me know. Okay, one of the questions that was handed to me, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you off camera here, was how we did the inside of the bowl turning. And what I thought I'd do is set up. We've got the next section, because there's some time constraints. It's not as bad as it sounds, folks. Because there's some time constraints. Whenever we have to do a section where we have to move from one time to the other in order for you to see what's happening, we have to put it on tape. So the next section's on tape, and I can actually set this up for some bowl turning. And let's see, I need the tool rest. I'll continue to talk to you while I run to the tool rest. It's over here on another Mark V. The bowl to turn the inside of these things is really an exercise in patience. You do not want to go quickly, and you don't necessarily make a whole lot of progress at a time. So I'm only going to be able to show you a little bit of this, but I will show you the setup. This is a nice S-shaped tool rest that'll conform to the inside of the bowl, give you a little bit more support there. Man, I hate if you guys are ever tempted to upgrade your tool rest to these little handles here. Don't. I know that Shopsmith wouldn't want me telling you that, but they are a pain. All right. Now, here's the deal. You're actually going to have to switch sides in order to turn this. The bowl is coming around like this, okay? And I've got this tool rest set, or I will have this tool rest set, just below the axis of rotation. Maybe about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch below the axis of rotation. Well, that's wrong, it's above. I'm supposed to do this above. The reason I want to set this above the axis of rotation is because at that point I am cutting downhill. The grain is running past the cutting point like this, and I'm shaving off the grain as it's running. If I'm below the axis of rotation, the grain is running like this, and there's a chance my gouge could dig in. So let me go get one of these little gouges. I'm going to use, for this one, I'm just going to use the straight. I'm going to come around over this side. It'll be easier. Yeah. See, I'm going to block everything that you need to see. Here, let's get a camera in there as tight as we can, and I'll just I'll try to turn leaning over. Kids, don't try this at home. There we go. Got plenty of support in there.
Get in over here.
Could I get in from there? Yeah, okay. Drew's telling me that I could do it like this. Can you still see? Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. Let me turn this on, or give it a rotation, first of all, to make sure that it's not going to hit anything. Okay, it does seem to be okay. Turn that around. That's basically all that's to that. Now that's out of round right now, so I would have to do quite a bit of work to get it into round. But you just keep scraping away at that until you've got the bowl hollowed out. Now, I was asked, how do you check the thickness? I'm using just a set of calipers. So this is Drew did this, so he was using a set of calipers. If you were checking, if that's I'm presuming you're checking about the thickness of the ring. If you're talking about the thickness of the wall, you use these calipers right here. You just adjust it, make sure that the wall isn't getting too thin as you're cutting. For something like this, I would probably keep the wall a little thicker than 3/8 of an inch. Try to keep it at least no less than a 1/4 of an inch. But it's just a matter of turning and checking and turning and checking. It's one of those things that you really get a feel for as you work. Quite frankly, I don't really check bowls anymore when I turn them. I just sort of turn them. The speed setting. I'm using about as slow as it goes right here. I'm using when I cut the rings, I get set slow. When I start off turning it, I set it at slow. I don't speed up until I actually am starting to make finishing cuts. Sometimes I don't speed up until I'm ready to sand. I find that I've got plenty control at slow speeds. Once you start to speed up, your control sort of takes vacation. And certainly I wouldn't speed up while this thing is as out of round as it is. It would vibrate all over the place. Does this save time over solid turning? You betcha. Believe me, I've hollowed out one of these blocks before, and it just takes forever. It's much easier than solid turning. And how did I get the herringbone pattern on the vase here? Okay, the herringbone pattern. Want to get it close in there? Okay, there we go. Let me try to. There, that's good. See that? The herringbone pattern is a product of the wood grain itself. Sassafras is an open-grained wood, and there are a great many. There's a great deal of difference in sassafras between the spring growth and the summer growth. The spring growth is the light rings that you see in there. The summer growth is the dark rings. It's much denser. The wood grows very fast during the springtime, and so it's light and not as dense, and then it slows down during the summer and it gets denser and darker. So you're looking at rings, and because this is cut rift, the rings go at an angle. If it were quarter sawn, you would see the rings straight up and down. If it were plain sawn, you'd see the rings go in arcs. In fact, there is some plain sawn wood right here on this side. See, that's pretty neat. This changes as you rotate it. Isn't that cool? Yeah. It's almost like a pot that I threw. No, Mary Jane does not want me to throw this pot. Okay, all right. Let's go on for. Are there any more questions?
No.
Okay, let's go on for mortise and tenoning. This is pre-recorded live. Drew and I did this yesterday. At Shopsmith's website, you'll find dozens of free videos on all kinds of woodworking projects, from preparing lumber to applying a finish. Twice a month, we webcast a 2-hour Sawdust session where you can ask questions and get woodworking help right over your computer. To find out more, come visit us at shopsmith.com.